This is a 2-row repeat worked on a multiple of 11 plus 4. For my sample, I cast on 26 stitches with a worsted weight yarn, and I used US size 8 needles. So this is the front, and this is the back. And if you'll notice, we have a stocking stitch on each side. So depending on how you plan to use the pattern, you may want to consider adding a border, because as you can see, we have that stocking stitch curl on the sides. Also, depending on how you plan to use the stitch, if you're just using the stitch pattern as is, like I did for my little sample here, and it's not incorporated into something where you already have some stitches worked, you're going to want to work a row plain or knit a row plain, because on the very first row of the pattern you are working into the stitch below, and so you need something to work into for row 1. So knitting a row before you begin the stitch pattern will give you a stitch to work into on row 1. For row 1, which is the right side of the work, the repeat is purl 4, knit 1 below, purl 1 3 times. So to knit into the stitch below, look at the next stitch on the left needle, and then right below is where you're going to knit. So this stitch right here, knit, and purl. You'll do that combination 3 times. Knit into the stitch below, purl 1, that was twice, and the third time into the stitch below, purl 1, and knit into the stitch below. So the repeat for row 1 is purl 4, knit into the stitch below, purl 1 3 times, knit into the stitch below, and you will end with purl 4. For row 2, start by knitting the first 4 stitches, and the repeat for row 2 is purl 1, knit into the stitch below, purl 1 3 times. So again, to knit into the stitch below, you just look at the next stitch on your left needle. You might have to pull your fabric a little bit to see the stitch below it. But that one right there, that's where you want your needle to go. And knit 4. So again, the repeat for row 2 is purl 1, knit into the stitch below, purl 1 3 times, and knit 4. And you just repeat those 2 rows for your pattern.